Well, hello. Welcome back to SanShabbadoo. Thanks for stopping by. Looking at our map here, we're getting real close to that big town. Only about 200 to 300 more population, and we'll reach that milestone. And our residential demand is starting to drop here, so we're going to start working on our next little development area, which is going to be an industrial build. So what my plan is, we have our ore industry up here. We've got some forest industry here. I'm thinking right here is a good place for an interchange. My plan is to kind of do something like this, and then around, then over, and then down here. And then it's going to come really close and parallel to this road, because I think this would be an opportunity for a nice commercial area, right? That's just a short walk from our residential area we built last time. This will be a little parclo interchange. And then this little service area, I think, will continue the road and connect it to here. That gives us a space here for some more residential areas, and possibly even a little bit of space on the other side of this road. We'll see. We might even have opportunity for some residential areas over here, and then those roads will be connected like this and like that, most likely. Okay. Looking at our levels, the area that needs the most help is this one over here. And I'm thinking the main thing that it needs right now is some fire coverage. Because if we look, yeah, there's hardly any fire coverage over here. And that's probably one of the reasons that it's not leveling up here. So I think the answer to my question that I posed last time, what am I going to do with this little tiny corner here? I believe I know the answer now, and that is I'm going to put a fire station there. So, fire station right here. Draw my little fire helmet here. Yep. And then another thing that I'm planning is to reconfigure this road a little bit. I'm getting quite a lot of traffic on this road, right? A lot of pressure on this road and this intersection, getting goods on and off the highway for import and export. Now, part of my strategy for dealing with that, of course, is to minimize the outside connections, right? So we're exporting quite a bit still. I think as our commercial areas grow, that will balance out some. But the other thing I can do is our next milestone after this one, we'll be unlocking the trains, I believe. Let's see. So big town, small city. Is small city where we unlock trains? Yes. Okay. So once we get to 11,000, we'll unlock the trains. And I had planned to make the train station over here. But really, if the industrial area is here, this area here might be a good spot for a train station. So I'm thinking what I want to do is to build a train station maybe here, right? And then I'll connect the track through here. And this gives me the opportunity to extend this road here and make an underpass and connect with the train station, which would, I guess, would be there. Right? That should take quite a bit of the pressure off of this road. If the cars going to the train station were going from this end of the industrial area. So that's what I'm thinking. I doubt we get to that part today, but the first thing I'm going to do is to build this fire station, and then I'm going to start on my interchange. All right, I think it's time for a time-lapse build. So I believe I want to use the European-style firehouse. The little tower on top just seems to match the vibe of the industrial area. And part of it is actually outside of the tile. So I can't finish the detailing here on the back. And just a little surface painter. At one point, I decided to just go ahead and cover this whole area with the concrete surface painter, just to make it look all even and relatively clean, cover up the polluted ground. And this was something that I meant to do last time, which is fence this area in, although it doesn't last for very long, because then I am trying to think of how I'm going to configure the underpass. I was planning to put the gate there, but obviously it doesn't fit. And like I said, all of this gets taken out and moved later anyway. And now, if I build it in that direction, the top of the fence is pointing the wrong way. Now, this was what you call a happy accident. I accidentally deleted the corner of that key wall. And then I realized, well, I should just extend it anyway. I should just extend it down past where the fire station is. And after I purchase that next tile over, I'll finish detailing that corner. So yes, I get this just right, and then later I decide to change it. This is something I was planning to do for a while, which is just to put these industrial roads here. I didn't realize it was going to, I should have known, but it's for some reason, even though it's the same width as the other road, it changed the zoning a little bit. So this is where I want to go under the highway. So I'm going to have quite a bit of a elevation change there to go underneath. So what I decide to do here is clear out some of these crops. Also, I'm going to have to delete the fence to make room for the road, and then after the road is built, I can rebuild the fence. I'm using the parallel tool here from the Network Multi-Tool to get the road even with the key wall, and quite a bit of adjusting and fiddling with it to get everything the way I want it. I want to make sure I have enough space. One thing I realized is that it was breaking into that zone there where that little warehouse is built. Okay, so I'm using the union nodes mode to attach the road here. A little bit of node controller. So you can see it's clipping the corner of that building a little bit. And once I turn the zoning grids back on, I realize that it has broken that 4x4 zone there. So to connect these roads here, I'm going to drag this across and use the intersect segments mode of the network multi-tool. Then I can just bulldoze those end pieces. Sometimes this works better when I'm near a key wall or something that is making it difficult to select the end nodes of the road. Key walls have those big oversized nodes and it makes it hard to select sometimes. Yeah, since there's a road here now, I can just move the gate right over to this area. And I think this is where I just realized that it was breaking my zones. So that I removed the zoning grid off of that road. There's still one little corner there that is not working out, so I decided to move the whole thing out just a little bit fussy, I guess, but I really like that warehouse building there, so I wanted to keep it. Okay, so that fence is pretty good. Now I can delete that section of the road and access to the water treatment and the fire station is through that little riverside road. Still not quite happy with this situation here. And I thought a nice little section of fence there would look good to integrate that little factory with Few Candy's little industrial park, which has the feature of being open. The fence is open on one side, which makes it really good to fuse it with other assets and sort of integrate it into the area. I'll probably come back here later and do some more fence work. I think there's some more places that would be good. Here's another area where I messed up my zones. So I'm removing the zones from these side streets. Still a little bit of uneven terrain and buildings that are not at the street level, so I'm working on that a little bit. Just want everything smooth. And the corner of that zone, that one zone square in the corner, is still missing. So adjusting to get that back. Don't want to lose that building on the corner. And just a lot of moving, adjusting the height and the placement so everything fits together nicely. Little surface painter. And here I decided to go ahead and make this underpass. So I'm lowering the road with Move It, and I'm using this ruler to make sure there's enough clearance for trucks. 6 feet is usually pretty good. And then I'm going to use some key walls here as retaining walls. An issue that I sometimes have when I do this is the top of the key wall, where it levels the terrain, will level the terrain in the wrong direction. And that's because I only lowered the road and I didn't lower the terrain. So the terrain on the side of the road, as far as the simulation is concerned, it hasn't changed any. So the key wall doesn't know which side to level on. The way I usually fix this is to lower the terrain or level the terrain at the bottom here with the terraforming tool, and then I use the invert segment tool from the network multi-tools there to flip the key wall, and you can see now it is leveling on the correct side. The fence there is kind of drooping down, going down into the ground, because again, the key wall makes the terrain look like it's level with the rest of the ground, but the simulation still sees it as a slope, as a drop in elevation. And you can tell by the contour lines there, because they're still showing what the simulation is seeing, despite what it looks like visually. Here I move the node of this road to the center in between the highways, but later I'm going to have to fix that because it requires you to go deeper in order to have the correct clearance of the edges of the highway bridges. Here I'm simply using Move It to copy and paste that key wall just to make it more symmetric. Doing some adjusting. And here, these little parking spots in the building are kind of on top of the key wall. Tried to make it look good, but eventually I decided to just scoot the treatment plant back a little bit and then adjust this one. Thankfully, the other end where those tanks are is pretty forgiving because there's a lot of space around them. Still a little spot there where it dips down, but there's not much I can do about that, I don't think. So here I decided that I should just move that node back and then add a node on the other side, make it the same height as the first one, just so I make sure I have that clearance in the right spot there where the edge of the highway bridge is. Not sure I like it the way the terrain is sticking out from the key wall here, so I'm doing a little bit more adjustment. I end up doing a little more adjustment even later on off camera. It takes a lot of fiddling to get it right, but in the long run, it is worth it. Once you see that the road and the key wall and the concrete apron behind it are all seamless, it's just aesthetically satisfying. Okay, so this is going to be our interchange. It's about 49 across, so the middle is about 25. I'm just going to come out 14 units, make some guide roads here, put a little 4-unit stem on each side, and then use the medium road. I'll delete that middle section and connect it. And then I'm going to scoot these nodes over to where they're near the sides of the highway to ensure proper clearance. And then I want to make sure I have a node on the highway right on either side here. And then I'm going to remove those extra nodes. And now I can go ahead and lower that, then scoot these nodes a little farther apart and upgrade these segments into elevated highways. I want to make sure that I have the right amount of clearance. So I've got my nodes there and my ruler. I gave it a little bit more clearance this time, about 7 meters. And now just going out 7, down 7, just some 7x7 unit curves. And I'm going to delete that node. I'm going to add a node across from this one, delete that node, and then repeat on the other side. And here again, I need to add a node in the right place and then remove the extra node just so that it matches up nicely. And then add a node on the opposite side, remove that node. For this exit ramp, I'm going to use the S-curve network multi-tool, but I realized that the little stem there, it doesn't look quite right. I think better to just connect it directly to the road. Just looks a little nicer. And now I'm just going to upgrade highway ramps. Decided to add and subtract some nodes just so it'll be easier later when I do the node controller to make those junctions look nice. And this is Mike's Highway 2-lane. I like it because it has the concrete divider in the middle. But later I decided I think it is a little too wide. It doesn't match up very nicely with the vanilla highway on-ramps. And sometimes you need to just give it a little nudge with move it even after you've done the node controller. It's kind of glitching. Just a little wiggle with move it will usually pop it into place. And now I'm reducing the lanes there so that the lane math works out right. 3 lanes before and after the intersection and 2 lanes in between. And here I'm shifting the ends over so that the lanes will flow straight and even into the others. And like I said, I wanted to just use the vanilla 2-way, 2-lane highway for this section, just because it matches up more nicely with the other roads. Just little adjustments to make everything more nice, make the traffic flow more smoothly, shift it around. I find that 2 meters usually is enough for the road shift to make the lanes line up and all of the traffic travel in a straight line. And another wiggle with move it, another shift with the node controller, increasing the offsets so that there's a reasonable amount of space for them to change lanes before exiting the highway. And again, we're going to use our vanilla key wall here as a retaining wall. I guess most folks would make an overpass for this type of an interchange. I just thought that this looked nicer to go underneath the highway rather than over the highway. Here I'm adjusting the angle of the end node. That'll make it fit more nicely with that little intersection. So yeah, the underpass, it's just a little more tasteful, I think. It doesn't go up into the sight lines as much. If there were more tall buildings around, it might make more sense. But here, I just felt like it should go under instead of over. And I'm using the traffic manager there to make sure that the turning is correct. I don't want cars to get off and then go straight and get back on. And now it's time to make our arterial road. So basically, I'm looking at the contour lines, and generally I like to either go parallel with the contour lines or perpendicular to the contour lines. Now I'm going to use the parallel mode on Network Multi-Tool to line this little section up, and I want there to be just enough for 4 zoning units. And then I'm using the zoning adjuster here because the the in-game zoning adjustments on the road, it wasn't allowing me to have that 4-unit zone on that side of the road. So our little service area here needs a little bit of tweaking and adjusting before I continue this road to connect over with that arterial. So this is a collector road, and it's also the access road for the service vehicles and some of our public transit. Here I'm trying to meander that road through the areas where there's not as much of the forest resource, and the main reason I'm doing that is just so I'll be able to get the maximum production out of our forest industry units. And a little bit of move it, just trying to get that road looking nice and smooth. And I decided this would be a good place to put our second geothermal plant. Sometimes I'll just sort of place the building down first, and then I'll use move it to position it, and then I'll worry about where to put the road. So it's cutting into the side of this hill a little bit. What I decided to do is use these little skinny 1-unit roads by Delta 51 workshop, and just sneak a little access road here. And then of course I need to flip this around and adjust the leveling. And I'm really happy with the way that fuses there. It matches up with that recycling center. The concrete area matches up quite nicely. So really happy with that. Just fits right in with our little service area. Okay, let's go ahead and start building our industry area roads. This is going to be the ore industry road. Make sure that it's adjusted to the terrain level. And our forestry main building, I'm just going to place it first, and then place our ore main building, and then I'm just going to take it back off of that arterial and make a little local road to connect it to the collector. This will keep our road hierarchy, and it will also give me some space to add, you guessed it, more green belts. Right? That green belt network is going to be connected even in the big industrial areas. So wherever there's a big arterial road, you can bet I'm going to put a nice green belt with pathways next to it. All right, here I decided I'm going to just connect these two collector roads with a nice curve with the network multi-tool. That will give us a place to expand our little residential area. But before I do that, I need to give it a bit of terraforming, and then I extend that retaining wall a bit. I switched to the natural resource view because I don't really want to build too much residential area in the forestry area. So just deciding where is going to be the boundary between those two areas. So because it's a collector, this will be the no-zone road. And then at the end of it, just a little bit of that pedestrian road with the bus lanes, and that will prevent the cars and the trucks from passing from our residential network to our commercial and industrial network. Same thing there, except for I was able to use the trolley tracks, and just like we've used them before, those little segments serve as a barrier to the cars and trucks, but allow service and transit vehicles to pass through. And I decided the local roads in the industrial areas here, I'm just going to use some nice little dirt roads. I think it will be fitting. Adjust the levels a little bit, the elevation, and then I can begin on the residential area. Okay, so our new development, still a whole lot left to do, but we got our start over here. I think I probably am going to make this at a certain point. I'm going to switch it to industrial road. We'll leave it the regular road here, and then we'll make it industrial road after this intersection. Industrial road. I think the medium industrial road is appropriate here. And our little partial clover leaf, we'll see how well this functions. I think got the lane maths right. I believe that'll be all right. Probably want to put some intersection marking tool on there. And yeah, I think just a regular industrial road here would be good. Nope, not that one. The little one. Or maybe even, because this is just going up to our mining area, I think I'm just going to use the gravel road. Still waiting to get my new system and get CS2. Just been so busy at work, and then on the weekends I'm busy making my projects. I haven't made it to the shops to do my shopping yet, so that's still something I'm waiting on. And as a result, I'm still getting quite a bit of little lag spikes. My little laptop here, not able to handle it. So yeah, this whole area I think will be a good little residential area. We'll just leave some space here for the green belts. This might be a little park area here. And I must have the zoning turned off. No, I'm using the no zone road. Okay. I don't want to use the no zone road. I want to use just the regular 2-lane road. We want zones. And I want to go ahead and get these zoned up so that we can see if we can hit our next milestone before I wrap up the video for today, because it is just about that time. This is why I normally use planning roads for this. I think that looks pretty good. And we'll use our forest brush here. Let me get these zoning grids turned on and then get the forest brush so I can clear out. But I want to leave it in the other spots here because that's going to be more lovely green space. I think just over the top with the green space, because why not? This is all just an experiment anyway, right? Test out different ideas and see how they work. Yep. Another little road on this side. I wonder if I should try to squeeze another one in here. Just do a little staggered here. I guess it's okay to have a few extra intersections. And then we'll leave the rest of that for the forestry area. And for some reason, my roads keep going down to the 3 meters deep. Not sure why that is. Okay. Probably going to need to move those power lines. I was planning to move these. I think I'm going to keep these, but I am going to delete these because we have a new little power plant over here. Hopefully that will be enough to handle the demand. Yes. Okay, good. And maybe I can just get rid of this now because of the new roads. A little nervous about that. So what happened before? All right, it looks like it's working. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay, let's get some residential zones in. Maybe that one's a little too close. Yeah, let's leave that one. And maybe I want to move that one too. if we can get up to that milestone. Also, let's see about this little commercial zone here. So my idea is to just connect these up with some pedestrian paths. And it's still at -3 for some reason. Alright, maybe just right in between all of these. Yeah, I like it. I think maybe I can scoot that one over a little. Give this a little more breathing room here. And I could probably make a nice crossing here. So that I can put some on the other side of the street as well. Alright. And then we'll probably put another pathway going up here into the ore area. Oh. Getting late in the day here. I didn't realize I've got my play it still turned on. Let's make it back to 11. That's usually where I do my building. Sun is nice and high in the sky. Zoning here, still not quite getting to that milestone yet. Do I want to zone this area? I think I do want to smooth it some. Yeah, I think not. I think I'm just going to leave those areas empty for now. Okay, so we have a little bit of an industrial demand. Maybe I should go ahead and start putting up my first forestry areas. I'm going to need to paint in the district first. And we'll just start off with a couple of little tree farms. Small tree plantation. And then maybe we can look at our ore area up here. little small ore mine. Oh, I have to do the industry area first. So it looks like 4,800 is the maximum units per week that we can have. So we'll just oh, okay. Do it like that. That's already hitting that industrial demand quite a bit there. And it is driving up the population, I think, too, driving up the demand for residential. So I think we're about to hit the milestone, and then we will wrap up the episode, I believe, with that milestone. I think up here might be a good place for a little more commercial. What I want to do here is get rid of the zones on this road. I'm going to have to go to the regular road tool, turn this off first, then go to the pedestrian road. And that is the bluestone with the bus lanes. Right? Nope. Yep. And that'll give me a spot right here that I can do a little commercial zoning. Just a couple of little corner markets. Maybe we can stick a little bit of parking here too. I need to think about, oh, there we are, big town. So that's a good place to go ahead and end the episode. So we've expanded, made our next area. We're going to start expanding down this way. I believe that I'm going to buy this tile next. Let's just go ahead and get it. And we're going to start moving down towards our downtown area. One more thing before we end the video. I've been working on a good way of creating a little cul-de-sac here. And this is what I've come up with. This is a variation. Oh, that's another thing. You see the house is deleting. I just made this into a district and changed it to the mid-century modern style. So all the houses are rebuilding in the new style. So yeah, basically what I'm doing here, first of all, I'm upgrading the roads, making them tree-lined roads. And then what I do is I add a little bit of the no-zone road. And then I use the traffic manager to, I need to first adjust the height. And then traffic manager, if I can select it. get rid of the crosswalks. After that, I can use the node controller here, add more options, and stretch it to 150%. Adjust this back a little bit until it looks about right. Nice and round. And yeah, that's it. Just a simple little cul-de-sac. Looks like I'm going to need to adjust the level of this a little bit so it sits right. Yep, that's better. And I've done it through all of our old neighborhoods here. I think it looks pretty good. And then here, I sort of reworked this whole little pedestrian path behind commercial zones. Sort of fused them up to the backs of these buildings. A little vegetation here, of course, just some tall grass and some shrubs and whatnot. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. The other thing I did is over here, I realized that this commercial zone was still inside of this district. So it was all organic produce, but I wanted just some regular vanilla commercial here. So I've removed it from the zone. So this is just your standard. Now that building's pretty ugly. We'll see if it changes later. Yeah, because there's plenty of the organic produce and whatnot down in this area. So that should help these buildings level up. And it's just the cul-de-sacs, just a little visual thing. I just like the way they look. All right, well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.